Hello there, it's Beverly Buckley and we're chatting about the truth about the South African banks. And today I have Peter Hattingh with me, who's going to be chatting to us a little bit about what his experience has been and what he's had to go through over the last while. We're going to be finding out a bit more about that. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Beverly.
Great to have you on our little interview here today. I'm looking forward to finding out from you. So tell us a little bit about your experience with the banks. What has been your journey, if we want to call it that, and where are you at the moment?
Beverly, it's been quite a shocking experience. I got into a little trouble and I started communicating with the bank that I was having a little trouble paying them. And they got quite nasty about it. And when I started researching about the banks, I discovered a couple of things that are really quite, in my opinion, illegal and not even shouldn't be allowed. And what bothers me is, where are the people that are supposed to protect us? If you want to, I can give you, I can talk about three things that I discovered. Okay, I think the first thing I discovered was that the banks don't actually lend you money. That it is based more on your ability to work for 20 years. And then they claim that they use your home as security, but for them it's just a book entry. And they're not actually lending you even depositors' funds. The second thing I discovered, which was quite shocking and which I think is quite illegal, is the fact that, and I think the best way I can explain this is to keep it really simple. If we could just play this, let's imagine game for a moment. Let's imagine for a moment there's only one bank in South Africa. And let's imagine for a moment that all the money in circulation is only 100 Rand. And let's imagine that we decide that we want to be free of debt. So we collect from all the people in the public, we collect that 100 Rand and go to the bank and say, okay, we have now 100 Rand, the sum total of all the money in circulation, and we want to pay off our debt. The bank is going to say to you, oh, that's very nice, but that's not enough money because there's no interest. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that this is a form of entrapment. There is simply just not enough money to pay off all the debt that the bank has offered the public in South Africa. So basically, it leads to a second thing that you should think about, is that because there's no interest in the economy, you're having one person's success has to rely on someone else's failure. And that leads me to believe that the banks actually want us to go bankrupt because they want to take your real asset for their book entry. The second thing I can tell you that I've noticed, I did a number of calculations using Excel spreadsheet, and I discovered that they do something called loan flipping, and it's called predatory lending, if you want to Google that. And if you look at it, and it's basically refinancing. You see, what happened is I took a second bond. But what they do with the first bond is they refinance it. Now, I'll do that. I'll do the same thing again. I'll keep this really simple. Let's imagine for the moment that you go and buy a car. And let's say this car costs you 10,000 Rand and you've bought it over a period of 5 years. A year later, they come to you and say, listen, wait a minute. We're going to ignore all the payments that you've made up to now. We're going to restart it to 10,000 Rand for a new period of 5 years. And then the response I normally get from a statement like this, but this doesn't happen. Well, it does. When you go to the bank and you ask for a second bond, you're so focused on the second bond that you don't realize what they've done to the first bond. And they refinance it. They simply ignore all the payments.
They start from the beginning.
That's absolutely correct. They ignore all the payments that you've made up to that date and give you a new term of 20 or 25 years or 30 years, whatever the case might be.
And a lot of people don't know this. They think that they've just upped the amount, but actually they've upped the amount, and it's the same as what you originally started with, right?
Well, not only that, you lose the benefit because of the payment structure, because the interest is very high in the beginning, and your payment is very high. Your capital payment is very high at the end. So they keep you in this position where your interest payment is at the maximum. Now, in my case, it worked out in excess of 2.5 times the value of
Wow.
the original price of my property. 2.5 times is the additional amount I need to pay the bank simply because they flipped the loan.
Wow.
And some of my calculations have shown that depending on the interest rate, obviously, and at what period you actually take the second bond, it can be as high as 5 times as the original amount of your bond. It's shocking.
Wow.
This is illegal.
And people don't know this, obviously, and you obviously didn't know this to begin with, right? When did you discover what was going on with all of this?
Well, it's only after I got into trouble and I decided, initially I wasn't even going to fight. I was just going to accept this. The banks are honest. They're not going to cheat me, for heaven's sake. These are the accredited financial institution. Who the hell accredited crooks like this? And I'm sorry, they are crooks. The last person in the world you want to go financial advice is the bank, because first of all, the other thing that I discovered is that the banks are all private institutions, including our South African Reserve Bank. So they are interested in the profit motive. They don't care. They don't give a damn about you. They just have to rip you off. And quite frankly, it is in my belief now that they want you to go bankrupt because they want to change their asset, your real asset that you have bought, which is in the form of a property. Because what does it cost them? A book entry. And the last thing, and this is something that Douglas Shaw specializes in, is securitization. I went and pulled out one of my financial books and I paged through it, and it's quite a complicated process. But what they do is they take a whole bunch of bonds and they stick them together and then they sell them off as a security, securitization, and they sell it off as an investment. And the moment they do that, they have lost the right to collect your money. They have sold off their property rights for them to collect your money, but they don't tell you. They sometimes don't even register this at the registrar. So as far as I'm concerned, these guys are crooks. They belong in jail, and they call themselves accredited financial institutions. But in my opinion, they should have this great big advert that says, "Come into my parlor," said the spider to the fly. But really, it's totally shocked my sense of belief. As I said, I was never even going to fight these people.
And what made you change your mind? Where did you decide you were going to stand up against it and say, no more, this is not acceptable?
Well, what happened is, I started reading on the internet what I could do, and then I suddenly started reading about banking, and I said, but wait a minute. This is wrong. And then especially when I discovered that they don't actually lend you debtors money, the depositors money, they lend you it's simply a book entry. They create money. I thought money was created by the South African government. I now find out that it's created by private individuals that have nothing more than a profit motive behind them. And what really shocked me is that, where are the people that are supposed to protect us? Where is the Consumer Council? Where are the people that gave these guys the license to trade as accredited financial institutions? In my opinion, we're going to have to fight our own battles. And we need to get together as a massive group of people and take these people to court.
And
You know, yeah, sure, carry on.
yes. No, just wanted to find out from you, what has been happening with your specific experience now that you've been having with the banks, and how has Douglas played a role in this? I mean, obviously he's been doing things for you as your advocate. He's been assigned by your attorneys. I just want to find out, how has he been assisting you with all of this?
Well, you know, first of all, you know, I was in a state of deep depression because, quite frankly, you know, I might be 63 years old, but I've still got 2 children to look after. I've got 2 adopted daughters. The one is in grade 10 now, and the other one's still in grade 5.
Wow.
And I've got to look after them. And suddenly I'm sitting here with the risk of losing my home. And, you know, when I went to Douglas, there was hope, you know, because at least, you know, at least I know I'm going to have my day in court. And at least I can prove to them that that they flipped my loans and that they have charged me additional funds that shouldn't be there. And look, we're still waiting for a court date. But the truth is that, and these bankers' attorneys are so aggressive. It's almost like, you know, they come at you with this, almost like a steamroller, and you feel quite intimidated.
Wow.
And what Douglas has done for me is that I am no longer intimidated. You know, I definitely feel I've got a good cause, and I'm going to fight the good fight. And if there's a group of people that want to join and be together, I think I would be more than happy to join that group, because these bankers are criminals. They need to go to jail.
And one of the I think one of the reasons why you know, I suggested these videos as well, because obviously I know Douglas through his assistance with some of my family members as well, which is why I said to him, let's do something, because we need to obviously get, you know, we need to get more people to know about this, and what have your experiences been, and how has he been able to help you, because he has definitely got some value where he has a different creative way of looking at things, which I think some, not all, but some other advocates and attorneys don't necessarily have that, you know, thinking outside the box.
Well, but what I've also discovered is that the legal system is a very specialized thing, and you need to go to an attorney with the proper skills and skill set to be able to deal with this particular, and he specializes in securitization and in banking law, and for that reason is absolutely the right person to talk to. But for anybody listening to this, you should go and look at what Iceland did. They put their bankers in jail and they're thriving.
Yes.
And people don't even know that. They've now just suggested, and you might do yourself a favor and go and have a look. They've now suggested a completely new financial system, which isn't governed by private institutions. I don't even know how they ever allowed that. Wrong.
Yeah, I think it just kind of spiraled out of control. I think it was a bit of greed involved, and I think it's just spiraled out of control. But I think because people are like yourself are waking up and going, this is not acceptable anymore, and you've got the support of people like Douglas, who's able to kind of actually give you that that fighting chance, if that's the right kind of words. You know, I mean, otherwise, you know, how long has this been going on for you, though, Peter? How long has you had this?
Look, this started, let's say, about the beginning of this year, sometime when I
okay, so it's still sort of fairly recent, because I mean, some of the people I've been speaking to is like a 7-year process, and you know, they found Douglas. And is it your personal home? That's the only. Have you got other? Sorry, I've just got another. Sorry. Is it your personal home that is the
yes,
central theme here, or is it other properties, or?
Look, it's just my home, and you know what bothers me most is that I need to provide a home for my family, and you know, as I said, the children are still young, and I need to be able to give them some security as where they need to come and live, and you know, where they can call home. And these bankers are, you know, and the other thing is that when I started doing these calculations, I went through their statements, and they say that they are transparent. I can assure you they are not. The interest rates jump all over the place, and in fact, what really annoyed me even more is that when I got into trouble, I would go to the bank and try and talk to them, and they would come up with, okay, well, if you now can pay 15,000 rand, and suddenly I worked out that the interest rate that they were charging me was like 5% more than what they should be charging me. So when I'm in trouble, they were overcharging me on the interest rate. I mean, these guys are just musty. And then they send the attorneys after me, and I don't know what drives them, but they're like animals. I mean, really, they're incredibly aggressive.
So obviously you have felt that they've been quite ethically and unethical and not fair, right? Unfair.
They're definitely not ethical. I can assure you. Look, they work according to the law. But is this even moral? I'm sorry, I don't agree. My eyes have most certainly opened, and the problem is that most people are so distracted by the TV and the cell phone right now that excuse me, that it's simply, this is not real to them. But my guess is it's going to become very real to them in the very near future.
Yeah, and I think also as more people are aware of it, and obviously we are doing these videos to make more people aware, and that's what this whole interview process is about. I think we'll be able to assist more people, and that's certainly what I think what Advocate Douglas Shaw is focused on. So yeah.
I think the important thing to notice here is that they are taking advantage of common people. Common, honest, hard-working people. And the problem is that they have got financial boffins or financial geniuses on their side, which do calculations on how to manipulate people financially, and you have no chance trying to match wits with these people. And they do it in such a sly, devious way that it cannot possibly be ethical, even honest. But what bothers me is that where are the people that are supposed to be protecting us? Surely there must be some banking regulations. Surely they should know this.
Yeah, I think that it's about time that we started standing up for ourselves, right?
Yes, it is, absolutely. And I think Douglas is on the right track there, and I must say he's one of the few people on our side. Because there's not too many guys out there that are prepared. The other problem is when you go to lawyers, the first thing they tell you, but they send us so much business, we can't possibly, it'll be a conflict of interest.
We
can't fight the banks because
they're in bed with the banks.
A part of our survival depends on the banks. So it's like a breath of fresh air finding someone like Douglas that doesn't rely on the banks for survival. And it's important that we get together and take these people to task.
Awesome. Okay, Peter. Well, I think we're gonna have a little bit of wrap up now. I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us today, and thank you for all your input. And I mean, you've highlighted quite a few interesting facts about the banks and what they've been doing, and what your experience has been, and obviously the discoveries that you've had. Which I think what happens when things go a little bit AWOL, you discover these things and go, "What? Where did this come from?" So the whole idea here is, I think, I want to just say thank you for that, and thank you for your time today.
Okay, well, as long as I explained it clearly, and if people don't understand, they're welcome to give me a call. I'll explain it over again.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much, Peter, and I wish you a fantastic afternoon.
Beverly, have a nice day.
Awesome.